provide a lot of information to legislators, to different urban groups, different farm groups. We just serve as an exchange of information, and we try to help the ag stakeholders as much as we can. We find ourselves more and more becoming an advocate for the ag sector and kind of facilitating things between groups that are having a little bit of conflict, and that's been really interesting. And there are 22 groups that belong to the Ag Water Alliance. We'll run through some slides here really fast so you can see some of them. This is the Pork Producer Council. We'll go on to the next. Fruit and vegetable growers. One thing that kind of surprised me on this, when you see the potatoes is fifth up there at the top of those peaches six, that's fifth in the nation. I had no idea we raised that much fruit and vegetables, but it's been good. The egg producers, if you look at that 1.2 billion eggs a year, that would probably make a pretty big omelet. We'll go through these fast. Rocky Mountain Farmers Union, aquaculture, which you may or may not know about, they grow fish, and that's been an interesting aspect of it, along with the green industries, who are typical, the greenhouse type people, where you grow your flowers and your garden vegetables. Livestock, we tend to forget about in their water use. It takes a lot of water to grow cattle or any type of livestock. And corn growers, which is pretty amazing. I just wanted to kind of give you a clue of what everybody's doing here. And there's some pretty good numbers. The Colorado Association of Soil Conservation Districts are members. These are the potato growers. Potato fields, I think, are really pretty when they're blooming out. Colorado Cattlemen's Association. And I know you probably can't read all this. We're going pretty fast. Put the Horse Council in here because I know several of you in here are fond of horses. They're also members. Farm Bureau, there's some pretty interesting statistics here. Each group puts in 2 members, and 1 member is a voting member, 1's an alternate. And we cover every watershed in Colorado, every basin in Colorado, so it's a well spread out group. Right now, the big thing in water is the Colorado Water Plan. Colorado is the only state in the western 7 or 8 states that does not have a water plan. And so Kansas, Nebraska, California, all these people are looking at our water because it affects them. And so since we don't have a plan, it makes us a little bit volatile. So we're coming up with a plan. There's been a ton of people working on this for a year and a half now. And this is a water use by sector. The green sector is agriculture, and then the blue is municipal and industrial. The one thing that's a little misleading about this is taken by amount of river diversions. So if you added all those diversions up to put in this pie chart, we would have a flood all the time. But this river is a growing river, and water is reused 7 times. By the time it leaves Denver to the state line, there's at least 7 different people that have used it. This is a little shot of the basins in the state. And you notice all the red arrows pointing down. That's all the acres of production that's going to go out of agriculture. And we're looking at 500 to 700,000 acres that will go out of production in the state by the year 2050. The population is projected to double by 2050, so we're going to need to be producing more food on a lot less land unless we can solve this solution for this problem. It's a pretty broad issue when you transfer water from ag to urban, just because of the way it affects the urban people. When you take that tax base away, it affects your schools, it affects your roads, it affects your towns, it affects everything. It's like a domino falling. So we want to make sure, however this is done, and the plan we come up with, that it fits for everyone. So the question becomes, are there viable alternatives to traditional ag water transfers? And traditionally, it's buy the water, dry up the ag land, and take the water to the city. So for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been doing studies on deficit irrigation, rotational fallowing, different cropping patterns, different technologies we can use. And we're trying to come up with solutions. One thing I want to talk about is these definitions. And the term conservation, we all hear conservation, and we want to conserve water, we want it to do better. But in agriculture, conservation often refers to actions that reduce consumptive use. And consumptive use is the water that the plant or the animal uses. When you reduce consumptive use in agriculture, you reduce production. So do we want to reduce production on a few acres, or do we want to dry up some acres and grow better crops on the others? These are all things we need to go through. The other definition is efficiency, and that's the ratio between water diverted and water consumed. And agriculture, along with cities, has done really well on becoming more efficient. But one of the problems you see when you start doing conservation and efficiency, even here in the city of Sterling, people started conserving water. But it costs the city X amount of dollars to run that capital to keep their water structure up and going. So when you charge by the gallon or however they do it, you use less gallonage, the price per gallon goes up. So that's why you've seen the water bill go up. We've promoted some comments to the water plan, and we'll go quickly through them. And this just states what I talked about a little bit ago. There are times you can conserve water in agriculture that will actually increase consumptive use by using drip irrigation and different technologies, but right now those are hugely expensive. That second bullet there is pretty important because there's a lot of exponential benefits to the system. When you do limit stream flows downstream, it affects water availability, it restricts wildlife habitats, it reduces wetlands, the nutrient cleansing isn't as well as it was before, and then you reduce food and energy production. One of the things we noticed in the water plan, which is 380-some pages long, is that it's overly focused on ag transfer methods. So there's already an ag gap where water is short in agriculture. We need to promote that we need to keep X amount of water in agriculture to keep it functional. We wanted to put a paragraph in the executive summary kind of explaining agriculture and just a total of the dollars that it brings to the economy and the good it does for Colorado. One of the biggest things we can do to help ourselves is multi-use water supply systems. And we desperately need storage in this state, but the red tape and the permits and the processes for getting that is so expensive that that's why they're coming to agriculture for the water. The NIST project, if you're familiar with it, up by Fort Collins, has been going on for 11 years. It's costing $1 million a year, and they still don't have their permits. So we've got to get that cut out where we can get this permitting done and get projects solved. One of the other things we wanted to investigate was an ag impact assessment statement, which would say this would be for large change cases where you're taking a huge amount of water out of ag and out of the community and taking it, say, to the front range. What does that do to that community when you took the water out of it? If you had that assessment statement, it might give that community a chance to bring up and buy that water that could elsewhere go out. So we've got to give communities a good transition statement to be transparent about what their community is going to look like after this transaction happens. Groundwater is another big deal, and you've noticed at Girlcast and here in Sterling, there's people with water in their basements, and so we need to manage groundwater better and do conjunctive use with ground and surface water so we can manage that and try to keep those impacts as low as possible. I know we're going through this fast, but the last slide here is probably the most important. Anyway, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I thought I would start today with just a very common Bible verse, Genesis chapter 1, verses 28 through 31. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fertile and multiply, fill the earth and master it. Take charge of the fish of the sea, the birds in the sky, and everything crawling on the ground." Then God said, "I now give to you all the plants on the earth that yield seeds, and all the trees whose fruit produces its seed species within it. These will be your food. To all wildlife, to all birds in the sky, and to everything crawling on the ground, to everything that breathes, I give all the green grasses for food. And that's what happened. God saw everything he had made, and it was supremely good. It was good. That is what God said about this earth. He created it, and he put us in charge of it. Oh my gosh, I mean, it's just such a big responsibility for us. I mean, God putting us in charge of everything, it's kind of hard to imagine. Are we caring for the world, and are we prepared to take care of it in the future? I don't know. I don't think we are at the moment, and we really need to start looking at that. Pollution is definitely becoming one of the big issues. Our rivers are becoming filled with trash. Animals are dying from eating trash. The air we are breathing is being filled with noxious chemicals. Landfill piles are getting bigger and bigger. We need to be more careful with what we do with all our possessions. Throwing trash onto the side of the road is unacceptable also. Moving to renewable power sources, in my opinion, is definitely the way to go. And we only have a certain amount of metal in the Earth's crust, so finding other methods to use is a good idea. So recycling is also an amazing idea. I would encourage everyone to start recycling more. That would help the Earth out a lot. And it is a bit of work, but it pays off in the end. Besides of running out of resources, we are running out of something even more vital: food and water. Our population is increasing exponentially. And by 2050, scientists project that our population will be about 9 billion people. How are we going to feed them when there are already people starving at 7 billion? Advances in technology and seed genetics are very important. Companies like Monsanto need to get more funding. We took a tour or field trip there for FFA freshman year, and it was just crazy all the things they're doing. They made like a whole museum showing how much they've increased the corn production from like, I don't know, 10 bushels or something in 1900s to 40 plus, like a lot more today. And it's crazy how far we've already come, and some of the things they are planning to do is just crazy. They have how much water each type of corn needs. They have all those things about what type of soil it grows best in, the climate it is in, and on certain days how much water it needs. Another issue that they are focusing on is GMOs. Those are genetically modified organisms, and these are very important because they resist disease, drought, and pests. Some people think that GMOs are a problem. They are not. It's just the media publicizing that they are, but they aren't. It's just advances in technology helping us to get further. Another problem that is really becoming an issue in America is overeating and wasting too much food. America is one of the most obese nations in the world, and also the issue about wasting food. When I go to school and just look at the trash cans after lunch, some kids don't even eat their whole meal, or don't even eat anything at all. It's just frustrating how much is wasted and how much could be given to countries like continents like Africa, where everyone's starving. Finally, I'm going to get to my last issue, and that is there's not enough food out there for people. This is what I believe we can fix here in Sterling. The outreach of the community garden can and will make a difference in the poor families around us. Wednesday nights, I plan to have a free night where there will be a supervisor from the church or someone that we trust, and then anyone that needs food for the family can come in and take whatever they really need, and that will help it out a ton. I cannot do this all myself, so I need a bit of help. One main thing is I'm going to have on May 9th, that's the planning date. You can help by bringing plants on that. There's a sign-up sheet out in the foyer on the bulletin board, and that will tell you anything that you can't bring. Eating healthy, locally grown food is one way to help with stewardship and with creation, since we are a part of it. Keeping ourselves healthy is the priority, but when we protect and care for all the animals and plants and resources, that's what comes after and what we can do to help the world. Nature is beautiful, from the green seedling emerging from the soil to the bright and peaceful sunset. Let's make sure that we keep